What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for C Limited with the ticker symbol SE. This was a viewer's request, and thank you for your donation. I will first go over what I see on the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. So, looks like C Limited had a nasty drop due to the earnings, which is most likely not even due to the earnings. I'll go over reasons for that. But I basically looked at C Limited back over here. It was sometime over here, maybe about a month ago or a few weeks ago, and I was looking for higher price targets, maybe even the opposite side of this range. So you can see how this big orange yellow range is in play. The highs are pretty clear. Looks like C Limited is finding clear resistance at the $88 level. The lows aren't as clear, but it looks like we're getting the most touches right around the mid 50s. So that's why I left it there. And you can see that since we bounced out the mid 50s, it looks like price was trending higher. But look what happened. So this would have been a signal or a reason to not be bullish any longer. So you can see that we had one leg up right over here. We had one large leg up. Price pulled back, and it was trying to make the second leg, but it could even reach the measure move target at the 68 level. The bulls stopped right around the 67. I mean, that's close enough, but either way, it's still a little bit short. And you look at how price reacted at this high, this swing high right here. It could barely exceed it. So once price started dropping below the EMA, and getting back down lower, that was not a good sign. That's not something you want to see. So this was telling me that the price is still pretty bearish, and we could even drop lower. I don't think anyone was expecting a huge gap down like this, but it would have been pretty bearish to see that the two legs up were met or almost met, and we saw a large sell-off. That would have been a pretty bearish sign on the chart. So price stopped at that 55 level. Then all of a sudden we saw a gap down the next day later. Was it due to the earnings? I don't think so. I mean, look at the earnings. 31% surprise on earnings, so I guess they're doing pretty good there. Revenue only a 5% miss. I mean, come on, is any retail trader gonna sell a stock just because a company missed a revenue in one quarter by 5%? I don't think, maybe 1% out of 100 retail investors. So this is all just a technical trade. It has nothing to do with fundamentals. Well, like I always say anyway, technicals drive the price in the short term and fundamentals in the long term. So this was completely technical trade because you can see that price made one large leg down from right over here from August 2022 to November 2022. So this leg right here represents this measure move arrow represents that drop. Price pull back, and you can see how since this high right here is lower than the previous one, that's where the second leg can start from. So this is a clone of the first leg, and price was trying to reach this measure move target at the $36 level, and it looked like they weren't going to reach it. Once we started bouncing off that mid $55 level, it looked like there was a bullish imbalance because it looks like the bulls were stronger than the bears. But once you saw price go up barely and then immediately sell off, that would have been the sign right there telling me that the measure move target wants to be reached and the bears can probably still reach it. So that was not a good sign right there. So that's basically what happened. It was just a technical trade. We're practically almost complete for the downtrend. I wouldn't say this is I don't want to say this is a bottom, but this is probably closer to the bottom than any other time on the chart as of right now. Maybe we go even lower, but this is looking more like a bottom than any other time in the past. Because we had two massive legs down and a huge dump or a huge capitulation. Now we're today it was a pretty green day for most stocks being red. But either way, it looks like is this a start of a reversal? Let's wait and see. I mean, I don't want to just go off of one single candle. If we see what I drew right over here, what I drew right here, this nice momentum towards the upside, then we could probably come back to filling this huge gap right here. Back up to the mid 50s. So there's a huge gap right here that can be filled and retest the breakout point at the 55-56 level. So it looks like I'll be more bullish than bearish as right now because we already had the measure move practically met. We could go down, in the next coming days and coming weeks to the mid 30s because the measure move target isn't perfectly met, but this might be close enough for the reversal. We'll have to wait and see. So C Limited basically made two large legs down. That can usually signify a bottom, especially in a downtrend. So let's just see if we see nice momentum. If price can get back inside this orange yellow range, I think that would be very good sign. So something like this would be a very good sign for much more higher price targets. But either way, I'm leaning more towards the upside because we had a huge gap created and the measure move targets are almost practically met. So there's a good chance we see continuation to the upside, at least in the short term. And then depending on the reaction in the short term, it could turn into a long-term uptrend. So that's all I have for C Limited. Let's see what it does also at this trend line. So this trend line can also reject price, but it won't be as strong. So let's see what happens. Let me go and clone this real quick. Maybe it's actually a channel. Drag this down. Yeah, it's not really a channel. It's just a trend line. So I'm looking for higher price targets in the short term, but we can still go a little bit lower first and then go up. So here's the weekly chart for C Limited. So you can see that there was a massive downtrend in play in the past. So this was the downtrend right here, right over here. You can connect it like this or like that. Either way, you can still see this was the large drop down lower. Then we had a large pullback. And after a downtrend gets a break, you expect 2 attempts in the same direction. So we saw one large attempt right over here. Price pull back, and it could not make a new high. And that's where the second attempt started from. So this is the same arrow as that one. So downtrend break, one attempt down, second attempt down. And that can signify a bottom, especially because we're also at the bottom, at the previous bottom of the downtrend back here in November 2022. So this looks pretty good to the upside. I'm not saying this is a bottom. I'm saying it definitely has a potential for being a bottom much more than any other time in the past, because the large measurement moves are met. The legs are the large 2 legs down have already occurred, so we could see a reversal occur. I'm expecting the mid 55 level. Maybe we find resistance there and sell off. But if price can get back inside this range at the mid 50s, right over here, I think there's a good opportunity for price to continue much higher. Maybe back up to the $89 level and even exceed it. So C Limited, basically the best way I can say it is that the downtrend looks to be getting very weak. It looks like it's coming to an end fairly shortly. There's a good chance for a reversal. I can't guarantee the reversal until I see bullish momentum on the chart. All we saw today was one green bar. That's not enough. So as right now, it's more likely we go higher. And then if we can continue staying higher, I think that's a very good sign. Let's just say we go lower. The lowest I'm looking as right now technically would be maybe the mid to low 30s. Anything more than that, I mean, that would be a very alarming thing for C Limited. Maybe it goes back down to the all-time lows, maybe at the $10 level. I don't know. So hopefully, if you're a bull, this can stop price right over here and we see a reversal. So that's all I have for C Limited. Basically, it went over what has occurred on the chart due to the earnings report. I went over what can happen on the chart and what is more likely to occur. So that's all I have for C Limited. If you have any more questions, please leave it in the comment section below. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time. The Vee Trades technical analysis course is now live. Learn to read the chart the right way to prevent costly mistakes. Click the link below to start training now.